Hello, my friend. Carolyn Cooper here with another energy shot, which is a tip, a tool, or some information to help you revive your vibe. So as I'm recording this, it is mid-December. We've got a new year coming up just around the corner. So today I want to talk to you about your word for the coming year. So I've done this for going on 10 years, and I've learned a few things in the evolution of this process for myself, and I'm hoping these will be helpful for you, whether you've done this a long time or you may just be starting out with this process. So 5 things I want to tell you about. Number 1, you don't have to have just one word. It can be a phrase. Sometimes one word just doesn't capture everything that you want to grow into that year. And so it's okay to add more words to it than just one single word. For example, last year I started out with a phrase that was do less, trust more. And that was good. That was a phrase. It wasn't just one word, because one word didn't get everything I wanted for that. So that leads into my tip number 2. You don't have to stick just with one word or phrase for the entire year. Sometimes you outgrow it, sometimes you expand into adding other things to it, and that's fine. It's your life, it's your word or phrase, it's your choice. So last year, about midway through the year, this other thought kept coming to me a lot, and it was trust God with your dreams, meaning talking to myself, your dreams. And that went right along with do less, trust more, and trust God with your dreams. So I just added that in for the year, and that was really helpful for me. So those were 2 phrases I used. I didn't just have one word. All right, so the next thing, number 3, is I think it's helpful to choose a verb. It doesn't have to be a verb, but a verb is an action word. It shows action. Unless you choose a word that's not a verb and you want to make a phrase out of it, or choosing, just for example, like an adjective. I always have a hard time saying that word, adjective. That works, but I found for me that verbs that have some action to them are more inspiring for me, but you need to feel that for yourself and see how that works for you. So this leads to my next, number 4, is be careful what you choose. So several years ago, I chose the word bold, and that's an adjective. I could have said be bold with it if I wanted a phrase, but I just thought, I need to be more bold. So I chose the word bold. This is where it got a little tricky, and I realized, wow, it really makes a difference what your theme is, what you want your presence to be for the year, because partway through the year I realized what was going on. If that is your intention that you're putting out, the universe will send you the experiences you need to fulfill that. So I had a lot of uncomfortable situations that year where I really had to put on my big girl panties and be bold. It honestly wasn't a fun year for me, but by the end of the year, was I bolder? Oh, heck yeah, I was a lot bolder. It wasn't what I would have picked for a dream year, but it did the trick. It got me where I thought I wanted to go, just in not the smooth, flowy way that I thought it would be. So that can be a good thing. In the long run, it's a good thing. But again, remember the old saying of be careful what you wish for. So just something to keep in mind when you're open to your word coming to you. And that leads me to number 5. If you Google word for the year, there are so many blogs, so many articles, so many people with great big lists of words and explanations of how you find the right word for you. And here's my advice on that. Don't go looking for it. It will find you. It will come to you naturally. You'll be reading a book and it'll be there, or somebody else say something, or you'll be tying your shoes one day and just this word comes to you and it'll resonate with you. You'll know when you have the right word or the right phrase. And suddenly you're like, yeah, I think that's it. And then you just let it play around in your brain for a few days and try it on and see if that feels right to you. It's much less stressful than trying to come up with the perfect word, and it actually is a lot more trusting to just say the right word will come to me. So I start being open, you know, in the autumn time sometime, October, November. Oftentimes the word will come to me that early. For example, one year when I first started doing this, it was in the fall, and my husband came in my office and I was working on something, and he said something that he thought was funny, and I didn't pay that much attention to him or laugh, and he said, "Man, honey, you really need to lighten up. You're working a lot." And that kind of stuck in my brain. I thought, he is absolutely right. So for the coming year, that was my theme, lighten up. Lighten up. That was a good one. That was a really fun year. And other times, like last year, my theme didn't even come to me until like halfway through January. So as long as you just put out the intention that the right word or the right phrase will float right to me, and I'll know it when I hear it or when I feel it, and you know, it'll be before the end of January, you're all set for the year. Don't overthink it. Don't stress about it. Just let it be what it is. So if you want to tell me your word, you can write it below, because I'm always interested to see what people choose for their word or phrase for the year. And if you want to know mine, I never tell people it until that year is over, because I'm kind of weirdly private about that. It's like personal stuff that I'm working on. So I don't like to tell everybody. So when I said put it in the comments below, if you don't mind telling, that's awesome. But if you're like me and it's like more of a private journey, that's okay too. Do it your way. Bottom line, do it your way. That's my tip for today. I hope you have a fabulous word, fabulous phrase, whatever you pick for the coming year, and that everything works out how you want it to, and you gain knowledge, insight into what that is that you want to be working on. All right, have a great day, have a great year. I'll see you next week. Shine on.